What is up, guys? FG Schmuck here, and I am with my good friend Happy Souls.
Hello.
uh, I don't know if you guys can guess, but we are sitting on a paused game at the moment, and yes, this is game 2 from the TWR 2v2 tournament. This is our second game against our good friends Sith Piper and Sith DesertFox. And the reason why we're paused at this point is because we did want to include this game. We want to show, what happened. Uh, but it was going to be very difficult. This game was over 34 minutes long in total length, and we thought that was too long and just too much stuff going. Well, it was just too much crap basically. It was all skirmishing and just whittling down and trying to get each other to waste our ammo and just little skirmishes. Nothing worth really making you guys sit through 30 some minutes of footage. And while we could have done like snippets, I don't know. I just feel like a recap would be easier. And so paused at this point, we see Happy's chariots in the back. One of them routing away with 4 left. And so that's basically one of our major issues with what we did.
Yes, I was being a silly happy souls, and a couple of times when I was microing elsewhere, um, they were being sneaky and shooting my chariots. I think it was only 2 volleys, but I was stationary, so it really did hurt me.
Yeah, and so basically the takeaway, guys, we forced them to use almost all of their ammo. They had very elite skirmishers, and we had some pretty crappy ones. We just had like Eastern slingers,
Mm-hmm.
Eastern archers, and what we had done earlier in the battle was ours were technically in what CA calls a forest, and it worked to our advantage because even if it doesn't look like a forest, guys, if it has that little green tree emblem when your mouse goes over it, it is a forest, so all of the effects apply. And so we took reduced casualties, even though our slingers and our skirmishers are pretty crappy in armor value and everything else. So that was one thing that worked to our advantage, wasting a lot of their ammo, but at the same time, I'd say they achieved their goal, which was get one of the chariots. So, anyways, without further ado, Happy, let's start this video in 3, 2, 1, go.
Orders understood.
And so, tried to get it pretty close to when we decided to start the actual engagements here. And I do believe we wait until Happy's chariot comes back from routing. Spoiler alert, it does come back from routing.
Yes, I was trying to encourage it with my Ptolemaic cav, and it seemed to work, but you'll see what happens later. Probably wasn't worth doing it. Okay, and at this point, I have only 3 units of slingers left. I had a total of 5. 2 of them died, and the 3 remaining ones are completely out of ammunition now. So they're just chilling in the back and looking at what's gonna happen.
So, guys, you're gonna see they're very, very tight into this forested area, and again, CA logic here, guys. That is considered a forest, even though it's kind of small in nature and everything else, and all of that. And so you're going to get all the effects of it, which means all cavalry movement, including chariots, and infantry, will be reduced by 30%,
Understood.
which greatly affects, you're going to see, another spoiler, it greatly affects how chariots operate, so...
Oh yes.
As you command. Quickly now.
But this was a really tough matchup. Rome is above and beyond one of the best factions in the game right now. They're the meta standard for, just a powerful faction that's going to be able to go toe-to-toe with almost any other faction in the game. And then we also had Syracuse, which when you couple with Rome, they have great synergy. Rome can be offensive, and oh, excuse me, not Syracuse, Athens. But Athens can be very defensive, and it works well. But so here we go. We're going in, and we're trying to absorb some of some of the melee infantry here, so that our chariots can get in with some clean enough charges without suffering from Pila fire.
Understood.
You also
Mm.
see I come in with a Carthaginian cav to try to draw the Pila fire, and then we wanted to go in with that full 9 chariots, but he intercepts with the cav, which is a good move, and meanwhile, that chariot that had come back from routing didn't do jack shit, got 9 kills,
It got
routed off
9
the field,
kills and they routed off the field. Yeah.
and to make matters... Oh, you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say that we made a terrible mistake of being... we panicked a little bit because we thought that they still had like 3 archers left with ammunition, and we just didn't want to stand there and, you know, wait till they go out of ammunition by shooting our troops. So we went in, hoping that chariots would do the trick, but because of all the blobby formations and the forest, they just weren't able to do anything really. So it was really a bad move from us to even attempt to use the chariots at this point. It was way too early for them.
Yeah, in hindsight, guys, this is actually a really close game. Like, we fail hard with our chariots, and they play it well, but we still make a game out of this. And so, a lot is going on. It's kind of hard to really commentate on everything that's going on, but basically we're just trying to assault on all sides, trying to use our cav advantage where we can. You're not technically allowed to make a noob box, so we are able to, you know, they do come out and attack us at certain points with different units, and it allows us to kind of slowly pick off some of them with rear charging and cavalry and things of that nature. But yeah, our second chariot is gone now, I believe. I think it completely died. And looking back, even if we had saved it after it went in with the initial and it only had 7 chariots left and we just stuck it back and waited with it, looking back at the game, it would have made such a difference. But nevertheless, you know, when you're looking back at things, you realize where you could improve, and you know, that's just it. But
Yeah,
we're working with what we have.
Yeah,
So
we're constantly moving in and out with our cav, even the companion cav from Carthage. Even if it's not designed to like cycle charge, we still make advantage of its high mass and try to cycle charge everything we can see that came out of the box. Just separate it.
yeah,
And kill it.
and I mean, we're clearly outclassed, you can say, in infantry, and also just outmanned in infantry as well. Just because, you know, we have a lot more cav than they do, and we do try to do a really good job. And I'd say that at least the MVPs for our team were definitely the Ptolemaic and Campanian cavalry. They did a really good job. They were the only reason why this game ended up being close.
Even my shitty Tarantine cav is trying to do some cycle charges.
Yeah. And just trying to find units where we see an advantage, trying to pick them off, get cycle charges off. And in the meantime, hopefully try to get some rear charges on the main line engagements so we can rout some of these units. But they are now getting forced to move and address some of their defending hoplite units into the actual combat. And this is where it's going to open up and I get a cav in with the Carthaginian cavalry right into the middle of their formation. And I thought with the Roman general going down here, guys, I really thought we had a chance. I was so convinced that, you know, maybe we could get a chain route here on Rome with a bunch of their units wavering, and we might be able to get this.
Now I'm
But
moving in with my out of ammunition slingers. Just I don't know what I was hoping to achieve with that. Probably just cause some chaos. Um, now I'm wasting Evocati's time by just baiting with them, and then hitting with my remaining Ptolemaic cav. Who did?
yeah, and I mean you're pushing them out enough
Yeah.
so that we can surround them.
Raiders at the double! Orders understood.
And just imagine, guys, if we if we didn't try to be so offensive with those chariots so early in the game, where there wasn't really a room for them to work.
Exactly. And we were so the reason why we were so offensive though, guys, is we were so convinced. I mean, Roman infantry just shreds you. Athens, when you bring a nice core of hoplites like this, they're just gonna tank out against you, and that's like the last thing you really want is just Rome bashing you away with their infantry, and all the meantime, Athens just sits there and forces you to tank against them. So like our thought process was, oh, we just gotta get those chariots in and get the numbers advantage so that we can have a chance here, because we didn't bring a lot of elite infantry.
Yeah, it was just living infantry, some garlic warriors, and Ptolemaic and Campanian cav, and chariots obviously, which we completely misused. And it hurts me to this day. It really does. But oh well, we all make silly mistakes every now and then.
Exactly. And yeah, so the battle is still going. They've got the advantage though at this point. Happy's still doing a good job cycle charging with those Tarentine cav. I'm trying to make what use I can out of the remaining companions I have. We do still have a decent size infantry contingency, but guys, just imagine right now, at this point in the game, can you imagine if we had some chariots? Oh, it just makes me sick. I mean, those chariots, when they died, when the 7 went back in, they did nothing. They really did, guys. They killed maybe 20 more people. I mean, they got a total of, I don't know, what was it, Happy? Something like, you'll see on the post screen.
I don't wanna
like,
talk about it. It makes me sad.
I don't. It makes me really sad, guys. But, you know, you'll see on the post-game screen it was like something like, you know, 70, 80 kills. Like, it was nothing. And so, if we just left them out, you know, just left them out, because they didn't have cav to chase us off with, you know, it would have just been much more beneficial.
They had 3 or 4 equites, the medium cav, but if we played it right, it wasn't enough to do anything.
I mean, Rome is out of the game at this point, guys. He's basically out. Piper, he's just got the one Evocati, and then DesertFox, I mean, yeah, he does have a solid amount of troops left, but I think at any one of these points that have been going on, if the chariots had now come in at this point and been able to get some rear charges off or something, it would have been very, very helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that forest really screwed us up. We had the cav advantage, which we couldn't really utilize to its full potential because of the 70%, I mean 30% slow. Which is huge for cav.
Yeah, it really does minimize their effectiveness. They rely solely on for the most part, for their, you know, their speed, and their charge bonus coming in with all that speed. Otherwise, I mean, they're just, you know, like an infantry unit sitting there with whatever their melee stats are. But yeah, they're just finishing us off now, routing the last of our units. Companions in my gen bravely just go in there, to die, and DesertFox is gonna finish me off with his units. And that'll end game 2. GG to both Piper and DesertFox. Using advantage of that forest on the map, but yeah, it just makes me sick. Only 89 kills on that second chariot, like we said. I can't reiterate it enough. If we just left it out, we might have had a very, very close chance at making this at least a closer game. Nevertheless, I think, given our circumstances, we did fight back and kind of make it pretty close. And to show that, I mean, we did actually outkill our opponents in this game. So, in total, at least. But
it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough. Rome's really tough. Athens tanks. So, anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we're gonna definitely be showing you and bringing you game 3. So, Happy, anything else you want to say?
Fuck her in the pussy.